Okay guys, so today we're going to be talking about getting your crested gecko to eat insects and why you should do that. So let's get straight into the video. Before we start, I will just say that what you're looking at is actually Splat under a load of leaves. He's moving about a bit, so if you don't see him, do just bear in mind that he is there. He might come out, I think he will, but if he doesn't, don't be that bothered because there'll be other clips to see. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to address is why actually you should feed insects, because a lot of people do say that you don't have to feed insects to crested geckos, and I completely disagree with this, because think in captivity we do actually have quite a shocking number of stunted crested geckos that are like a year old and they're absolutely tiny, like 2 grams or something. And insects are full of protein, so I mean, you can draw the link. The ones that don't get fed them don't grow. The ones that do get fed them do grow. So that is a big reason to feed them. There's also my crested gecko Splat that you're looking at now, or should be anyway. He actually refused to eat a crested gecko diet until he was 20 grams. And until then he just wanted to eat insects, which I'll probably talk about more in the future, but basically I just listened to what he wanted, and eventually he did go on to a crested gecko diet that he eats now. So if they are going to choose insects over CGD when they're young, in my opinion that is what they need. I mean, he even refused to eat anything for a couple of days just to get insects. So if they're going to do that, they obviously really need them. And finally, most CGD companies, if you actually look on the websites or on the back of the packets of food, they actually do recommend feeding insects with their food. So that would imply that they are necessary. Of course though, some people do seem to have trouble getting the cresties eating insects. So if that's you, what should you do? Well, the first thing I would recommend is using tongs, because trying to feed crickets in an enclosure dead tall like this, they tend to just run off. So using tongs to feed is quite good. Do make sure though that you make your crested gecko come from a distance to get them so they don't get lazy. I'd also say feed at night, because in my experience crested geckos are far more in tune with their environment at night. At daytime they can sort of be a bit passive and not really have a clue what's going on, but at night time they seem to be able to focus better. I'd also say to be quiet, because they do tend to get distracted quite easily. And finally, also make sure that you offer a wide variety of insects to find what they like. For example, you'll see in the clip now that my crested gecko doesn't like locusts very much, but he does like crickets. So it's good to have a variety to offer them to find what they like, and obviously just to increase the variety in the diet to make it more enjoyable for them. Anyway, that is about it for the stuff I can say about feeding them. We're going to get into some feeding clips now, so get ready for that.